Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Home Cooking. That's home ownership made easy. I'm Daniel Cook with Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration. And today's topic, we want to talk about estimates. I get this question a lot, and it's a very common, question. Before I was in the business, I did the same thing, and so it's very common. So estimates are super important to be on budgeting purposes and to allow yourself some research and competition, which is all great for the project. But there are a lot of different things that estimates bring into the realm of the job, and you need to know and understand what type of estimate you're asking for and in what scenarios estimates really are not necessary. So, all right, so we got Lyndon Wilson with us here. Lyndon, are you here?
I am here, Daniel. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Just loving this rainy day we got coming in.
Another rainy day. Our last show, it was raining a little bit. So maybe we'll catch up, right?
Yeah. So
we need it.
We do. I'm not going to complain about it yet. It's when it gets cold and rainy, and that's when I'm just like, nope, I'm out.
Yep. So. That's the part about Texas. I mean, I tell everybody, I said Texas winters usually are great. You can play golf in shorts just about almost in January.
Yep.
And I don't mind cold if I'm like in the mountains snow skiing, but Dallas cold is just different. It's just wet, cold, and pointless.
Right. Yeah, it's different. A different beast for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So. We have some friends up in Broken Bow area. I think I've told you that before.
Oh, yeah.
And when we go up there around New Year's Eve, and it's always cold, you know what I'm saying, by that time. We've been up there and it's been snowing, and we didn't think we were going to get out of the mountains to get back home. We've been up there and it's been 70. And then we've been up there and it's been icy. So, it's all over the board. But majority of the time it's cold and it's foggy because you're up in the mountains and everything just hangs lower, around all the mountain bases. And it's amazing the difference that you have in just 3.5 hours from driving.
Oh, it's funny you said that because I have a hunting lease up there in that area. And I wanted to go to, first of all, when I first started hunting up there, I didn't realize that Oklahoma had the mountains and was so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But I grew up in South Arkansas, and it was more river bottom land. Of course, Texas hunting is just kind of like boring. But I love to see the seasons change. And in Dallas, it's either green or brown. That's just it. It's, you don't get much season change. And I think people would be amazed that the foliage change just 3 hours away. Now, it's not like in Colorado or Vermont or any place like that. But there is some distinction between when the seasons start to change. It's pretty up there. It really is.
Yeah, it is. That's one thing on my bucket list is to take a tour of the, I guess not as far up as Upper New York, but I like to go through the Smoky Mountains and some of the, I guess, what would be that?
They say Gatlinburg is really pretty.
Yeah. Tennessee, Kentucky, kind of go up through maybe the east side of Pennsylvania. Some of those really nice, Washington. I don't know if Washington, D.C. really. That's more my spring bucket list. I think my fall bucket list is mostly like Tennessee and Kentucky. And all those areas right there.
Well, I was in Montana a few years ago, late September, right around the, September, October. And I got to see it was amazing. Every day you'd get up, it was almost like you could just see the difference. It was just changing so fast.
It is awesome time.
Yep.
All right. Well, we got talking about estimates today. That's a very common question we get. We probably get that asked at least 10, 15 times a week. And estimates range on what kind of project you're working on, what severity of an estimate do you want. And then also, is it a retail job or is it an insurance, you know, job? And so there's a lot of differences. So I guess we can start with insurance. We get asked often for a customer saying, "Well, you know what? I've got these um, claims, and I'm supposed to get some estimates." And I always ask them, "Why do you get estimates? The insurance is already giving you an estimate on your repairs and what they want to see repaired." And they say, "Well, I want to make sure that I'm getting the best deal." I'm like, "Well, that's what your insurance claim does. Your insurance claim makes you where you cannot pay greater than what the insurance has allowed. And the
Hmm.
only item you're responsible for is your deductible. There's nothing more a contractor can charge you. It's against the law." And so they're like, "Well, what if I get somebody to do it cheaper?" I go, "Well, you save the insurance money to the insurance company." And they
Yeah.
look at me, and they look at me and they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Well, you just help the insurance company save money. Because if you find somebody to do your roof that the insurance company said they're going to give you $15,000 for, and you find somebody to do it for 12,000, and then you submit that invoice back to the insurance company and say, 'Hey, I got my roof done. Here's my receipt. Now I need the rest of that money that you told me I could get.' They're going to look at that and they're going to say, 'Well, Mr. Jones, thank you so much. You got your roof done for $3,000 less than what we were going to give you. We're going to take that off of the initial estimate. We'll make this up, and then that's all you're owed.'" And so, and the customer, and I've heard this so many times. "You mean I don't get the other $3,000? What are you talking about?
Nope.
Insurance is not there for your benefit."
Nope.
And it takes a while for people to understand that. It's you're not going to get the money. So there's no benefit for you to go out and find somebody cheaper, and somebody's going to do less, and somebody's going to cut corners to get you some money you think you're going to be making, because that's not how it's going to work. So,
Exactly.
um, but that's a very learning thing, especially for the first time you do an insurance claim. It's a lot of moving pieces. I mean,
Hmm.
first, you have damage, or if you do, you call your insurance. They send a guy out. You may or may not be home. You may be at work. They come out. They look at your property because there's no damage on the inside, and then they say, "Okay, well, we're going to write it up." You get a phone call later that evening. "Yeah, we found the damage on your home. We're going to send you an estimate. Make sure you find a contractor. If you have any questions, call me. But we'll send your estimate." Boom. Well, then the homeowner gets this email that's got like 13 pages of information, right? And it's a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo. Unless you really are in the business, you don't know what all these different lines are. It's like looking at medical coding. It's like,
Yeah.
who
Right.
knows how that reads? So you get all these different lines that says roof and it says dwelling, and you look at the totals and it says RCV and ACV, and it says deductible, depreciation holdback. It has all these lines of all these items that you're supposed to have. Then it talks about your gutters, and it hopefully talks about window screens or windows, and then it talks about power washing and staining and non-recoverable depreciation. It's mind-boggling. I mean, at the end of the
Yeah.
day, you go down to this one total and you say, "Okay, I see that I'm supposed to get $14,000. I've had this happen just last week. Customer says, 'Give me an estimate for my roof.' I said, 'No problem, sir. Is this going to be an insurance or retail?' 'Insurance.' 'Okay, I'm going to write you up an insurance claim because we have the same kind of software called Xactimate, and that's a very common insurance software. I'm going to write you up an insurance bid for your roof.' He says, 'Okay, cool, no problem.' So a day later, I send it to him. He sends me back an email within 30 minutes. He goes, 'Oh my gosh, we're going to have to find somebody else. My insurance company only gave me 14,000. I go, 'Sir, are you sure?' I go, 'There's no way they can build a 60 square roof for $14,000. I said, 'If you send me your insurance paperwork, I can definitely make an assessment on where the problems are, where the
Hmm.
differences are.' I said, 'It doesn't matter if you go with me or not. I'm not going to give your paperwork to anybody else. If that's what your goal is not to send it or give it out to me.'
Yeah.
So he texted me a copy of the thing. This is the problem. He was looking at ACV. The first check you get is actual cash value. So they sent him $14,000 on the claim. His claim was $28,000. So they were holding back that additional money until he got the work done.
Right.
My estimate that I wrote him was for like 29.5. So we were in the same ballpark. He just couldn't wrap his mind around my estimate because I had a grand total with no depreciation, no deductible taken out. That was the grand total.
Hmm.
He just saw that he was getting $14,000. He didn't understand about depreciation and RCV. So that's an important element to understand under estimates.
Yeah.
Is they're going to give you some money up front, but all insurance companies hold depreciation back unless you have an ACV replacement policy, which is that's a tough policy to swallow. And those are getting more popular because people are not reading their contracts when they get insurance.
Yeah.
Or they convert over after 10 years or 15 years. They convert to an ACV automatically. So those are a lot of educational things on that side. But so this customer, once I educated him and explained everything, he's like, oh, okay, great. Well, I want to use you. You've been highly recommended. I just didn't see how I was going to come up with an additional $14,000 to pay for my roof. I'm
Right.
like, insurance is going to do that, sir. Your deductible is $2,800. That's the only out-of-pocket expense you're going to be. And so once you say that, they're like, oh, okay, great. Yeah, let's do it. So now he's just ready to go.
Right.
It's a misconception. And unfortunately, how many times are there education classes on reading an insurance estimate?
Well, there's not, and you would assume that their agent would explain that to them a little bit better. But I don't know if agents sometimes think that everybody should know or does know or what the reasoning is. But there it's got to be education on both sides. But again, we go back to the whole premise that when if you've got that good relationship built with a professional or group of professionals, you know who to call when you have something like that so that they can guide you just like you did, Daniel. That's what's great about Cook DFW Roofing. You guys do that.
Right. Well, I mean, that's important. And it's just, so you brought up the fact that the insurance agent, a lot of times what we're finding out, these people don't have agents. There's a lot of insurance out there that they're online. They're out of state. They got subsidiary companies that they can sell in Texas, but they may be based in West Virginia or Georgia, whatever. And so then they have to call a 1-800 number. And then it's like pulling teeth to get a hold of somebody. And then when they get a hold of somebody, that person's making minimum wage, whatever they're making, answering the phone, just directing calls. They don't even have an idea how that insurance claim's supposed to read either.
Well, a lot of them just have call centers. I mean,
Right.
these are people that aren't even educated or trained in insurance.
Nope.
They're just answering the phone and giving some basic, um, you know, this and that.
Yep. Transfers. That's all the transfer.
Hmm.
How can I help you? Oh, you need to talk to claims? Okay, claims is over here. Then I've actually had this happen myself. You call in, you get the claims department, then the first person you talk to is like, oh, well, you'll need to be in this department. Then they send you over to this department. And that department says, oh, well, you've already processed your claim. Oh, so you'll need to do the supplement department. Then the supplement department gets it. And it's like, holy cow. I mean, it's nothing for me to be on the phone for an hour sometimes talking to an insurance company. And the average person, how are they going to do that? And, I mean,
Now they're at work; they don't have time to do that. It's a struggle. It
right.
is.
Yeah. But on the flip side of the coin, if you have a nice in-house insurance company like Farmers, State Farm, something in those magnitudes that have branches around town, hopefully you have developed a relationship with your agent, and it's not just I need insurance, so I'm going to use this guy. Hopefully you develop some type of relationship with them, and hopefully they have done it as well.
Exactly.
Because they should. That's what they're supposed to be doing, is helping the community in getting the right insurance and making sure that they're protected in case of something happening. So if you do, then that's a great example of what you can do also, Lyndon, is call your agent, say, hey, this has happened. I don't understand this paperwork. Educate them. And they should be more than willing to help you with that situation.
Yeah.
Now, but also, and again, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I don't know. There's so many contractors out there, so many roofing companies, if you find somebody that you're working with for a long time, let them help you as well. I mean, we've worked literally thousands of claims, and after a while, the paperwork is pretty mundane. It's the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing to us. So we can definitely break it down, show you the levels of what's going to happen, understand how the claim should work. Talk about pre-supplements. That's an important thing too. A lot of contractors don't pre-supplement. Not sure if you've ever dealt with a large.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, so say we have a claim right now in Frisco, part of that hailstorm back in February. Okay, customer waited, didn't really do anything about it. Then he calls us up. We go out and make an assessment. Roof is demolished, windows, it's stucco on the side of the house. That hail was so large and so intense, it indented in the stucco and caused pieces of the stucco to come out around the chimney and everything.
Wow.
Okay, So what else? Window screens. Oh, pool decking. He has that nice pool decking that has that cover that has um, a layer of like uh, a protective covering basically over the decking,
Hmm.
and it's like a coating is what it is. Well, the hail was so intense that once it hit that coating, it was breaking the coating and causing blotches in it. His generator box, he has a generator in the back of his house. It had huge holes, not holes, but big old dents from the hail hitting the box. Okay,
Mm.
so he calls us up and he says, "Hey, come out, look at my claim, look at my house. I want to make sure that you were highly referred to this. I'd like to use you. I just want you to look around and see what we got to do." So we start looking at his claim. Well, his claim was kind of low on the others already. When I first looked at it, in the size house, this is a huge house. It's going to be, I want to say it's right at 75 square roofing, 10, 12, 12, 12 pitch. So, one of those nice big homes in Frisco.
Hmm.
And I think it only was like $26,000. So it's really low. Well, then we started looking, and it was like all these items are missing. They haven't documented anything about the generator box. They didn't document anything about the stucco. They didn't document anything about the pool decking. They didn't. They had the wrong size gutters on there. They had 5-inch gutters instead of 6-inch gutters because he has oversized. They had a couple of windows because the beading of the vinyl outside casing had some dents in it. The fence, they didn't have the fence measured properly. Um, all kinds of things. Well, so we started getting all of our team together. We got our window guy to come out and met my window guy, and we started going around all the windows in the front because the major portion of the storm was blowing in at the very front of his home. So his whole front of the home got impacted severely, and he had all these big windows in the front of his house. Well, certain windows, older windows, used to be able to replace what's called the vinyl beading around the edges and
Hmm.
inside the little grid work on the outside. Newer windows, you can't do that. Newer windows, you have to replace the entire window.
Wow.
Well,
Didn't know that.
what does insurance company write up as? Window beading. So, so I get my window guy out here, and we're walking out, and he's like, Daniel, he goes, there's a lot of damage on these windows. I go, I know. I know. That's why I'm calling you out here. Write up all the damage that you see on the house. Take pictures of it so we can categorize it. Make sure they understand how much damage on this window, this window, this window. So we do that. Then my gutter guy comes out. I'm like, all right, let's talk about the gutters. They only paid for 5-inch. Let's document the total linear footage of the gutters, the downspouts, so we make up our little front and make sure we estimate it with 6-inch like the customer has. We talked to the pool guy. He comes out and goes, yeah, that probably is damage from the hailstorm. He goes, because, when they get that heavy and that hard, they're going to break that coating and that layer of protective layer. And he goes, so yeah, I'll write that up for you. And then we had some other people come out to look at the stucco work. Well, not to mention, this is a severely pitched roof. Well, that chimney stands up in the sky on the second floor, about another 20 feet up above the house, right?
Wow.
So my stucco guy says, this is going to take scaffolding. It's going to take all this additional manpower, support, all kinds of stuff. He goes, this is not going to be something I just walk up that roof and just repair a little bit and paint it real fast. I'm like, okay. So long story. We get all these estimates put together. The claim started at 26,000. Just the windows by themselves came back at $60,000 that needed to be replaced.
Golly.
The gutters they had allocated, I think, like $3,000, came back at almost like $5,000. The rest of the measurements on all the other things, the generator box lid, the pool decking, all in all, this claim is 26,000. It's probably going to be over $100,000. So this is why, again, it goes back to who do you use? I don't know. Hopefully, it's somebody you really know, really knows what they're doing. You have to do pre-supplements in this day, because if you don't do a pre-supplement, what happens is it gives the insurance company time to, basically deny. If you don't repair, if you don't do anything, and you say, "Hey, come on back out. Y'all miss this. Y'all need to come back out and look at all these things."
Hmm.
That gives you a time to really get the estimate properly written up before you start work. Because on the top of the lines of those estimates and those insurance documents says, give the copy of this to your contractor. If his estimate is larger, Please contact me first before beginning repairs. And a lot of people kind of leave that off to the side.
Yeah.
And the contractor does the roof, does the stuff, and then he tries to send in what's called a post supplement. And then basically the insurance company looks at you and go, why'd you do all this? we didn't authorize any of this.
Right.
You know? And I've heard nightmare stories of contractors waiting months upon months to get reimbursed for these repairs that they do. And so if you're one of those guys and you use one of the companies, you could be caught in the middle. Because at the end of the day, you are not supposed to be held accountable for anything the contractor does above the deductible unless you have an agreed item that you're adding onto your home. But sometimes I've heard horror stories where contractors are like, well, hey, you know what? The customer wants your house fixed. We fixed the house. You owe us the money. If you're not going to pay, we're going to take it from the homeowner and we're going to sue them. You know? So
Wow.
those are items that can happen.
So, I mean, in a situation like that, is that somewhere or some situation where contractor could file a lien against the property?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
They can. And it's a tough road. I don't think anybody really wants to do that. But I've heard of horror stories where people get in that, I can't say a better word, a pissing match. The contractor's upset at the insurance. The homeowner's upset at the contractor. Then the contractor blames the insurance, so then the homeowner's mad at the insurance. And so it's this three-ring circus. You know, it should have got handled at the very beginning.
Right.
It wouldn't be where it's at now. And so that's an important pre-supplements.
Yeah. I know back many years ago when I was doing mortgages, I ran across that, and it's probably changed since then. People are more savvy. But I know that I went across a couple of different loans that I did where there were liens, mechanics lien, construction liens against the property, and the homeowner had actually not even didn't either remember it or didn't really understand it because it'd been years ago,
Right.
and so they're ready to sell their house and move on into another house, and they couldn't sell it
Right.
because they had that lien on it, and
Right.
so. You
Well,
always look at them with a funny eye when they say, "Well, I didn't know." I'm like, "Okay," but yeah, I swear, I think the oldest one was 8 years. It was 8 years old.
yeah. I mean, the thing is that all you have to do to do a lien, you have to go down to the county, or the courthouse. You have to provide them a contract between you and the person. You have to then say, hey, they only paid me this on this contract. We had this total amount. You have to present them evidence of how much they paid you. And then you have to write up what's called there's a certain document name. I can't think of it right now. Basically, it's writing out all the details of the lien. You send that in. You get it stamped by the court. Yep, they send them out a certified letter stating that property's been up in a lien situation. So the customer definitely knows it's certified. It's like
Right.
you're getting this. You're getting it. More likely, you're probably just like, yeah, screw them. I'm never going to sell my house.
Well, yeah, I think that's kind of it. I think you're kind of looking at like, well, what are they going to do? What's a lien really until you need to get rid of your
Yeah,
house.
because really you can't do anything unless they try to sell it.
Right.
I mean, that's it. That's the only way you'll ever get the lien.
That's the leverage and recourse right there. I mean,
But like you said, how many contractors are going to wait 8 and 10 years to get $10,000?
not many. Let me ask you this question. I don't want to jump ship on this or get off topic, but what happens to a lien? And I should know this being in mortgage. What happens to a lien if that contractor goes out of business?
Well, there'll be nobody on the counter side of that claim, so that should become nullified.
That's what
there's
it,
nobody
okay.
to, there's nobody then to execute the pickup of it.
That's what I was thinking. But I mean, obviously, if you're trying to sell your house, figuring all that out is going to be a tedious and timely process.
Well, just like you just said, I mean, okay, so you're trying to go through closing and this lien comes up. Okay, great. Now you got to delay all this closing. You
Exactly.
convince the buyers that it's okay. I'll get this fixed. Don't walk away. Especially in certain markets. Like right now, it's a buyer's market, and they know it. So if you're going to the table and you find out the house that you want has a lien on it, you've already looked at 2 other houses that you like. You're like, screw this, we're out.
Right. Yep. I'm out. I'm out.
But yeah, so no, the liens is one thing, but really it's having that relationship with the contractor, making sure you know what you're getting, making sure you know what you're on the hook for, and those contracts need to be documented like that. Our contracts are very, very open. we're going to be performing this amount of roofing for this amount of dollars plus supplements that we collect from the insurance. We're going to perform this amount of gutters plus supplements that we're going to be paid from the insurance company. We're going to be performing this amount of fence staining and washing for this dollar amount that's being paid by insurance. And then we have a separate line on the contract that says your deductible, which is what you're responsible for in this claim, is this amount. That's it. It's very open. It's very you can't not miss it. It's
Right.
no smoke and mirrors. So, but estimates and contracts are super important as far as the insurance side of the business. But on the opposite side of the business, we have a lot of retail, and that's bathrooms and kitchens and flooring and painting and all those kind of things. And those are up for a lot more debate. It's like, what are you getting in an estimate? What is the contractor you're asking for an estimate giving you an estimate on? Because I've run into this several times. Is I come out to a bathroom and customers are like, we want to redo our bathroom. I'm like, great, give me the list of what you want to have done. We want to rip out the floors. We want to rip out the vanities. We want to rip out the old shower. Rip out the walls. We want to put all the new tile in here, this and this. And so I start going down the laundry list. Okay, well, that means you're going to have this plumbing done. That means you're going to have this type of, sheetrocking done and hardy backer board and this type of adhesive and this red guard and all this kind of things. They're like, oh, yeah, okay, great, yeah. So I send them an estimate, redo the bathroom, and it's like $12,000. And then they're like, oh, my gosh, you're so much more expensive. I'm like, hold on. What did the other guy give you an estimate on? Is it a complete bathroom revision like you told me you wanted? Or is it me coming in there ripping stuff out and putting stuff back? There's a big difference.
Well, go ahead.
So that's where we have to really break it down to. So you have to actually have a plan. When you're talking to multiple contractors, make sure you tell them the identical thing every time that you get an estimate. I want all of these items done. And when the estimate comes back, hopefully every one of those items that you had a conversation with your contractor is on that estimate. It needs to be documented.
Right.
And then you can compare apples to apples. Because if you're comparing apples to oranges to nectarines, you're way off of base. And you know what's going to happen? You're going to take that last bid. You're going to get through that project. And then you're going to go in there and say, hey, that's not what we talked about. I wanted this over here. I wanted this head up here. I wanted this kind of plumbing with the rain. And he's like, well, no, I don't remember talking about that.
Right.
If you want that, that's going to be $2,500 more.
Mm-hmm.
So you end up spending more, or what you probably would with the guy that did the estimate right.
Exactly.
Long term anyway. So very important to make sure it's documented properly and you know exactly every estimate stands on its own and it's the same.
Yep. Well, Daniel, we got about 2 minutes. I'm going to let you close us out here in a minute, but before we go, I just wanted to pop up a quick picture for everybody to see. I know you just had a big ribbon cutting and grand opening up in Van Alstyne. I wanted everybody to check out your new place. Looks great from the outside. I've been on the inside of it. This is something that I think that most people would not expect out of a roofing and remodel restoration company. You guys need to go check it out if you haven't. It's really cool. Daniel's got some really good things that are going to be going on to help the consumer understand more of the things they need to understand. So kind of like what we're talking about today. You've talked about having some, I don't want to put words in your mouth or anything like that, but you have talked about having some educational classes for homeowners and stuff like that up there. And so really cool place. Go check it out. A lot of samples. And so I'm really happy for you, Daniel. That's really cool.
I appreciate that. That's been a long journey to get that building, get it open, and get it started. And
right.
I'm glad it's here, though, and it's definitely working toward getting better. I think we're going to expand our showroom. Right now, we have a bunch of shingles and different roofing types. We have some attic ventilation up there right now. We're hoping to expand to show even maybe skylights and solar panels, different other functions, gutters, showing the difference of the gutters. So that ideally is going to be a true showroom and a functional place where our consumers and our clients can come and educate themselves on what they're entitled to or what some differences could be that they could do at the same time with a claim. We always have a lot of customers always say, well, how much more is it going to be to bump my gutters up to 6 inch? Or how much more would it be to put a skylight in my living room because it's too dark? So we always have those opportunities, and it's a perfect time to do it because you're already doing a major construction event on your own. Mm-hmm. So adding a little bit of thing here and there is not a very big deal at all, and it saves you money long term. Yeah. So, but the showroom is fantastic. We are going to have education classes. we do want to invite, the community up there. It's open Monday through Friday already, 9 to 5. We're going to be open up by appointment basis on Saturdays and Sundays. It's going to be a lot more, ability of coming in there and really getting educated on the claim process. We hope everybody can come up there. We want our project managers to meet our clients. They can walk around, feel easy. We have beverages up there to relax. We have a cozy tables and meeting rooms, and nice plants all around everywhere. And so, it's trying to become this really nice place to go to talk about your home.
Yep.
But
awesome. Well, tell everybody how to get in touch with you, and then we'll close out and get ready for. I don't know if you're going to plan on doing a part 2 on estimates. I think there's probably still some things we could talk about, but let everybody know if you're going to do that, and we'll get ready for next week's show.
Yeah. Well, folks, just give me a call. Our best number and easiest number, 1-833-COOK-DFW. You can also look at our website, cookdfw.com. And if you'd like to stop by the store, check it out. If you're up there, our store address is 166 East Jefferson. It's in Van Alstyne. That's 45495. And it's right beside the post office in downtown, so you can't miss it. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to help you out. We hope you have a great time. Take care of your home. Talk to you later.